Hello YouTube. I was just listening to some news about the Q3 quarterly earnings call from Tesla and about what they talked about the neural networks there and autopilot. And I've talked about this before. Having driven my own car now with the adaptive cruise and all that, and it's brilliant. Using it now, it just works. But then you have Tesla, and then you have everybody else. This is a system that's developed probably by Bosch, most probably a Mobileye system. It looks like it, but I don't know. But it is what it is. It's probably a system on a chip, so you can't improve it in any way. Maybe you can improve it by some software updates, but they have to be done at the dealer. Maybe. The autopilot is astonishingly good. I know everybody else have systems that are getting similar, like Nissan and Mercedes and BMW and all that. But what the way that Tesla works are just, because they're releasing the third gen systems. They've built the chips and the neural nets and all that themselves. So it's a bit like Apple do things. They can integrate system demands and hardware and software in a way that no one else can, because you're just buying off the shelf systems from Mobileye or Bosch or Continental or whatever automotive supplier of your choice, and they work. Yeah, sure, but they have their limitations. So is Tesla, but they're building. Imagine that the systems they're now building, and they're now the existing version 9, which is going to be having navigate on nav and stuff, and it's going to over time learning, and then it's going to do its own lane change stuff. That's amazing. I read an autocar sometime, I think it was last year, that Land Rover, or Jaguar Land Rover as it were, are working on a similar system, and I'm sure they are. Everybody is. But they don't have a fleet of what? 300,000 Teslas, 400,000 cars now? Of which 100,000 of them are Model 3s, and they're just growing like that. And of which, how many have the AP2 now? Probably 200,000, 250,000 cars, maybe more, I don't know. They're all around the world. And pulling in data, racking up miles. Whether you have the system active or not, it's still logging. And oh, come on, Buzz, you had to do that, didn't you? Well, and that's just. And yes, they've been a bit behind. I've said it myself. You have cruise automation, which are doing amazing things, and Waymo, which are doing amazing things, and then you have Tesla, which really, for a long time, it seemed weren't doing anything, because well, as far as we could tell, they were sort of beginning to get slightly behind the ball, or the competition were catching up to them. Not anymore, they're not. I mean, we have the Navigate on Nav, the version 9 software, and the fact that they now have after 2 years, they're now using all 8 cameras, actively using them, and this opens entirely new windows. This car, for instance, to use this as an example, it is aware of its surroundings in so much as it can look forward and brake and see cars coming slightly in and out, in the sense that there's a narrow angle of, the front-facing camera and the radar dome. Well, not dome, but radar in front. And that was the fact of Tesla up until recently as well. And so there's things on the side you can't change lane, which is fine, perfect. But it doesn't have cameras. The Tesla do. That means that it knows exactly what's going on all around it at any given time. And the limitation now is on the NVIDIA software they're running. The NVIDIA software, I'm sure, is absolutely amazing. But things are moving ahead rather quickly, and they're building their own software, and that means that they can do integration, as I mentioned. In Steve Jobs once said, he quoted someone else, that if you're interested in doing software, you're building your own hardware, because then you can use everything, and you can use it 100% of the time. And the capability of the new networks are a lot better than what they have today. And Andrej Karpathy, the chief of their autopilot software part, he comes from Google. He was so he knows neural networks. When he say we have systems running that are very, very good, I'm sure they are very, very good, and I would love to see them in reality, but we can't, because the current hardware, the current networks that are in the car aren't capable of running it, very simply. And the new ones are. They're 1,000 times more efficient, but they're the same space. The physical space is the same. So my Model 3, when it starts, whenever I decide to order it, I have now my waiting car. This is it. So I can keep it at least for maybe a year, maybe less, you know. But my car will ship with the new hardware 3, and that's going to be very exciting to see. And this isn't like, many people, me included, are saying that we're going to have self-driving cars. It's a matter of when, not if. And then well, it's kind of, it's going to be in a geographically limited area. And because that's where we've tested, that's where we've mapped it, you know, that's where you're allowed to use it. Okay. But not Teslas. They're everywhere in the entire world, and they're getting systems that are just getting better and better and better. While the competitors aren't, not in the same way. I know everybody is individually working with it, and I know they're teaming up desperately to self-driving companies. Like, for instance, was it Mazda? Who that now just recently used $2 million to buy into Cruise? Like things like that, because they know this is coming, and they know that whoever gets there kind of wins the war in a way. But most of these systems are not made to be. They're not made to be cars to be bought. These are cars. These are cars to be rented or used as a ride sharing. I'm sure Tesla will get there as well, but it's just, these are systems that you can use out on the open road. There's no limitations on it, apart from Tesla saying it's beta software, so it's your responsibility. They're kind of, if you die or crash or something, that's your fault, not ours. And that's disclaimer, and you can think, and you can, that's up for debate, certainly. If a Uber has a crash, that's not your fault, that's the Uber driver's fault. Or if you rent a driverless Uber, for instance, or you know, Waze or whatever. That's the companies have their liability. I just think it's astonishing what Tesla has managed to do, and I also have to say, yes, they did it. What me and many others have said, they will make money. And everybody said, no, they're going mad, and Elon Musk is crazy now, and he's flipped out, and all the stuff going on in the last 2 or 3 months. But they used every single trick in the book. They've adjusted the prices for the Model 3 up and down like this every day, and so on, and simplified construction, and used and just given you less options, because it makes it even cheaper to produce, because you have less variation in the line. So they used every trick in the book, but it worked. They did it. They made money, and that is they're now entering with the mass production of the 3. That's sort of in box. That's check. Making money, check. And now they don't necessarily have to do this every quarter, but they proved we can. And with the accelerated timeline of the China plant, that's going to be very interesting, because that's a huge market. And I'm thinking, I can't help but thinking that some people, particularly in Germany, or in Europe at least, are now sitting under their desks crying, because they know that Tesla has now gotten production of Model 3 up and running. And they're not done yet, but they're on a level that's scary enough, because they're eating up all the sales of the BMW and the Audi and Mercedes and stuff. And they're not done yet, because we still haven't got the cheap model out. This is relatively expensive models. And it's going to happen in Europe, it's going to happen it's going to happen all around the world. We know this. And they know this. And when the Model 3 comes out, it's going to be, they're now wondering, what in the name of God, how are we going to fight this? How are we're going to lose on every single front, and they know that. And particularly BMW now is out saying, oh, well, the diesel is a good thing, and blah, 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 blah. We maybe have 30% battery electric in 2030. Well, if you have that, you die. And remember, Mercedes they're building trucks and stuff, so they have a very, very diversified production portfolio. It's different companies within the structure, yes, but still they have a diversified. Come on car, notice, brake. Thank you, that was smooth. They have a diverse portfolio of cars. BMW doesn't. They only have their SUVs and their saloon cars, after all. Audi as well. So the VW group as a whole has an enormous amount of range of cars, but it's just showing how quick this has happened. Particularly maybe in the USA, where you have the infrastructure isn't in place and all that. It's truly been very impressive indeed. I didn't expect that. And now that they've got that in box, now they're working on the next projects, now they're making money. They can't necessarily shut this down anymore. Even if they had been shut down, someone has bought them, because of the technology that's hit on. They're far too valuable to be just thrown away. And it's really, really exciting times now to see what happens, to see how everything else is responding. And the fight, because this is gonna be a lot of crying and screaming and shouting. And this is gonna be a bloodbath within the next 3 years. And that's gonna be very exciting to see who comes out of it and in what shape they come out of it, because yeah. Anyway, exciting times. Remember to give it a thumbs up. It helps the channel to grow, and share it, and leave a comment if you want to, and subscribe if you want to see more of me in the future. Thanks, bye.